right, so you want to boost your brain power, right? In this Alex.com video, you shared 15 daily habits to boost your intelligence. Well, that's got some pretty interesting ideas. I'm excited to really dive into this with you. Before we get started, for anyone who doesn't know, Alex.com is, all about self-improvement and success. So I think it's pretty cool to see what they have to say about, intelligence.
Yeah, I think it's really refreshing that they approach intelligence as a skill, like something you can actually work on and improve instead of it being this fixed thing you're just born with. And it really fits in well with the idea of lifelong learning, always trying to learn new things and challenging your brain.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They start off with this powerful quote from Einstein. The important thing is to not stop questioning. And they actually say we should question everything. So I'm kind of curious about how that actually helps boost intelligence.
Well, so when you question something, your brain actually releases dopamine. It's a neurotransmitter that's associated with pleasure and motivation. So basically questioning makes learning more enjoyable, but it also fuels your desire to learn even more. It's kind of like your brain's rewarding you for being curious.
Oh, wow. That's super fascinating. So it's not just about finding the right answers. It's more about cultivating this spirit of always wanting to know more.
Exactly. And then Alex.com goes on to talk about learning new languages. And they emphasize that it's not just about, being able to travel or order food in different languages.
Yeah, for sure. They actually connect language learning to some pretty impressive benefits for your brain.
Yeah, totally. It's like a full-blown workout for your brain when you learn a new language. It can strengthen your memory, improve your attention, and even help delay cognitive decline as you get older. They even talk about this concept of working memory, which is basically your brain's ability to hold information temporarily while you're using it. And studies have shown that people who are bilingual actually have better working memory, which allows them to do things like multitask or process information more effectively. Think about doing mental math or trying to remember a phone number while you're in the middle of a conversation.
Yeah, okay, so that's pretty amazing. So we've got questioning more and learning new languages, but then they throw in this kind of curveball, reading things that intimidate you. I mean, that doesn't really sound like something that would boost your intelligence.
Yeah, I can see why you might think that. But the idea is actually based on this concept of productive struggle. So when you challenge yourself with difficult material, your brain has to work harder, which creates stronger neural connections. It's kind of like lifting weights, but for your mind.
Oh, okay. So instead of avoiding complex topics, we should actually be embracing them.
Exactly. It's like expanding your intellectual comfort zone. The more you expose yourself to challenging stuff, the more your brain adapts and grows. And Alex.com actually gives a really good example of how this works with language. When you read complex texts, you're going to come across new words and phrases, and that's going to expand your vocabulary and improve your overall language skills.
That makes a lot of sense. But knowledge is only potential power. Alex.com makes this really good point that we need to actually apply what we learn.
Oh, absolutely. Just absorbing information isn't enough. You need to actually put that knowledge into action if you want to solidify it. Think about a time when you learned something new and then you actually used it. You probably remember that information a lot better than something you just read about passively, right?
Yeah, definitely. So applying knowledge helps us remember it better. Are there any other benefits to putting what we learn into practice?
Yeah, for sure. It's not just about remembering the information. It's also about making it meaningful. Applying knowledge helps you gain a deeper understanding of the topic you're learning about, and it helps you build problem-solving skills, and it hones your abilities in real-world situations. It's kind of like the difference between reading a cookbook and actually cooking a delicious meal.
Right. I get it. Alux.com also talks about that classic idea of the mind-body connection. They even quote this Latin phrase, mens sana in corpore sano, which means a healthy mind and a healthy body. And they really stress the importance of things like exercise, healthy eating, and sleep for intelligence.
Yeah, that's where the science is really clear. Exercise increases blood flow to the brain, which delivers oxygen and nutrients that are essential for your brain to function properly. And a balanced diet provides the building blocks for healthy brain cells and neurotransmitters. And sleep, sleep is like your brain's nightly maintenance routine. It helps consolidate memories and clear out waste products.
So it sounds like taking care of our physical health is just as important as doing mental exercises.
Exactly. It's all about a holistic approach to intelligence. And speaking of taking action, Alux.com is a big advocate for setting SMART goals. Have you heard of that framework before?
I've heard of it, but I'm not really sure what it means.
So SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. It's basically a way of setting goals that makes you more likely to actually achieve them. So instead of just vaguely saying you want to become smarter, you break down your goal into smaller, more actionable steps. Like, remember how OLX.com recommended learning a new language? Well, a SMART goal for that could be something like, I'm going to learn 10 new words in Spanish every day for the next month. That's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant to your goal, and it has a clear time frame.
Oh, wow. That's a great way to make a big goal feel less overwhelming. All right, so we've covered questioning, learning a new language, embracing challenging reads, applying knowledge, taking care of our physical health, and setting SMART goals. Wow, that's a lot. What else does OLX.com have in store for us when it comes to boosting intelligence?
Oh, they've got a whole bunch more. They touch on everything from spending time in nature and meditation to doing artistic activities and having meaningful conversations.
Wow, okay, there's a lot to unpack there. Maybe this is a good time to take a step back and think about everything we've learned so far. What stood out to you the most from what we've discussed?
I think for me, it's really the emphasis on this multifaceted approach to intelligence. You know, it's not just about book smarts or academic knowledge. It's about cultivating curiosity, challenging yourself, taking care of your physical well-being, and actively applying what you learn. It's really a holistic journey.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's pretty inspiring to see how many different ways there are to boost our intelligence. And I'm really excited to explore those remaining habits that OLX.com mentions. Ready to keep going.
Absolutely. Let's dive into the world of nature meditation and the power of creativity.
All right, so we're back and ready to tackle the rest of these OLX.com habits. They mentioned some really interesting stuff like spending time in nature and meditation. I gotta admit, those sound more like relaxation techniques to me than brain power boosters.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. But both of those activities actually have some pretty surprising benefits for how your brain works. Let's start with nature. OLX.com really emphasizes how calming natural environments can be. And that's important because, you know, stress can really get in the way of learning and thinking clearly.
Right, that makes sense. But they go beyond just stress reduction.
Yeah, for sure. So they talk about how all the sights and sounds and smells in nature, it's like all this sensory richness, you know, and it stimulates our brains in ways that our everyday routines just don't. It's almost like a natural workout for your mind.
I like that. It's a natural workout. And is there any research to back that up?
Oh, yeah, totally. There's actually a growing amount of research that suggests that being in nature can actually boost your creativity and problem-solving skills. Some studies have even shown that just taking a walk in the park can improve your memory and attention.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty impressive. All right, so what about meditation? How does that fit in?
Well, meditation is kind of like strength training for your mind. It helps you develop focus and emotional regulation and even compassion. In fact, studies have shown that regular meditation can actually increase gray matter density in the areas of the brain that are associated with learning and memory.
Oh, wow. So it's not just about relaxing. It's about actually strengthening those important parts of our brain.
Exactly. And the best part about meditation is that anyone can do it. You don't need any special equipment or anything. It's just taking a few minutes each day to be quiet and focus.
Okay, I'm definitely intrigued by that. Moving on, OLX.com throws in a bunch of these mental exercises like puzzles and brain teasers and memory games. Is there actually any science behind those?
Well, think of them as like targeted workouts for different mental skills. Puzzles can challenge your spatial reasoning and problem-solving abilities. And brain teasers force you to think outside the box and make new connections. And memory games, well, those are pretty self-explanatory.
Right. So it's kind of like cross-training for your brain. And just like with physical exercise, it seems like variety is key.
Totally. It's really important to mix up those mental workouts so you're challenging different parts of your brain and, you know, keeping things interesting. And remember how we were talking about novelty earlier? Trying a new kind of puzzle or learning a new strategy game can be super stimulating for your brain.
So it's all about pushing ourselves beyond what we're comfortable with and finding new challenges.
Exactly. And all of this ties into OLX.com's final point, which is aiming to be smarter than you were yesterday. It's not about comparing yourself to other people. It's about focusing on your own growth and always trying to improve.
I love that message.
Yeah.
It takes the pressure off of trying to be the smartest, and it really focuses on that journey of lifelong learning.
Yeah, for sure. And with all these tools and habits that we've been talking about, that journey can be super rewarding and even fun.
I'm starting to see that. Okay, so we've covered nature and meditation and mental exercises and the importance of continuous learning. But we're not quite done yet, are we? Alex.com has a few more habits up its sleeve.
Oh, yeah, they do. And these last few really highlight how important social interaction and creative expression are for boosting intelligence.
I'm really curious to hear more about that. Ready to keep going.
Absolutely. Let's explore how connecting with others and tapping into our creative sides can help us develop a more well-rounded and powerful intelligence.
All right, so we're back. And I think this is going to wrap up our look at all 15 of these Alex.com habits. We've gone through, ton of stuff from individual things like questioning and meditation to those bigger ideas like physical health and lifelong learning. But these last two habits that Alex.com talks about, I'm really interested in these. They say we should be doing artistic activities and having, those deep, meaningful conversations. And I wouldn't automatically think those things would make you smarter. So I'm curious to hear what you think.
It's pretty cool how Alex.com kind of expands the definition of intelligence here. They're not just talking about, your IQ or how well you do in school. It's more about this, well-rounded